In our last video, we talked about how rates and taxes are spent by Parliament, local councils and public organisations. The Auditor General keeps an eye on that money, so she can tell Parliament and the public of New Zealand that the money is being spent properly. The Auditor General is the public watchdog. Excuse me, how exactly does the Auditor General know if the money's being spent properly? I'm glad you asked, Susan. I'm glad you asked. This story is a closer look at how the Auditor General is able to tell Parliament and the public that money is being spent properly. This is a big job, and there are far too many organisations and people to talk to for the Auditor General to do it all by herself. If one person tried to do it by themselves, they would probably get very cranky very quickly. That's why the Auditor General employs hundreds of people to do this work for her. These people are called auditors. Auditors are responsible for a large part of the Auditor General's work and are essentially her eyes and ears. They mostly work on two types of audits, financial and performance audits. Both types of audits are important but focus on different things. Financial audits focus on, you guessed it, the money. Money, 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 money! Money! Performance audits have a performance? Yeah, she's slowly rising up to me. I love performances. No, not that sort of performance. Performance audits focus on whether or not an organisation is doing their job the best way they can. For both types of audits, auditors need to work out what important information needs to be looked at. To do this, auditors talk with the organisation before they start the audit so that everyone knows what information is going to be looked at and can agree to an audit plan. I love it when a plan comes together. This way, auditors and organisations work together to get the job done. Financial audits happen every year and are all about show me the money. Auditors look at annual reports and financial statements that show what the organisation has been doing for the past year, how they have spent the money they have received, and what they have done to try and improve their services. Auditors look at these annual reports and financial statements to make sure that what the organisation has said is correct by double checking the facts and figures. If it's correct, the auditors shout, "Huzzah!" and move on to the next financial audit. If it is not correct, it could just mean that a simple mistake was made and needs to be fixed. However, it could be that someone has been a little naughty with the facts or the money. This is called fraud, and the job of the organisation is to make sure they've got the plans and systems in place so that fraud never happens. An auditor's job is to advise the organisation on whether or not they have got the right systems in place to keep fraud out. This way, an auditor can help the organisation keep anybody from being naughty with the facts and the money. Performance audits are a little different than financial audits. Performance audits are looking at whether an organisation is doing the best job it can. Organisations won't have a performance audit happen every year like they will with financial audits. A performance audit might look at a special aspect of an organisation's work to see if any improvements can be made. For example, if the army spends all its money on banana-plated tanks, a performance audit might look at whether or not buying armour-plated tanks is a better idea. That is for the record. Oh, look at me and my banana-plated tank! Performance audits involve talking to a lot of people who work for the organisation, because it is these people who have the best view of how the organisation is running. From these interviews and information from important documents like annual reports, performance auditors can see how well an organisation is working and what can be done to improve the way it's doing its job. Performance auditors go away, evaluate the evidence, and come to an audit opinion about the organisation's performance. There is one other audit product that needs mentioning: inquiries. Inquiries are special because they often combine financial and performance auditing, and they are also usually very interesting to the public. One instance of an inquiry is the running of the Hamilton V8's event. There was a lack of clear and transparent systems to ensure that correct decisions were being made, and as this continued, the cost of the V8 started to balloon. Once the dust settled, the V8s had cost $37 million instead of $7 million, and people wanted to know, why does it cost so much? Because the people's rates were used to fund it. Auditors went and looked at the way council made their decisions and how they spent the money, and gave them a list of recommendations on how they could do a better job in the future. Once all the audit work is done, Financial and performance auditors share what they have found with the organisations that they have audited so that they can talk about all the good work they are doing, any improvements that can be made, or any problems that were found. The Auditor General is told if there are any issues that she needs to be aware of, and keeps involved with the work of her auditors to support them and stay informed. This way, nothing is missed. The Auditor General is then able to use her auditor's work and findings to provide assurance to Parliament and the public of New Zealand that public organisations are running the very best way they can.